Hey, what's up guys? Wade here with WW Gaming coming at you with another video. This time we are talking about the Avengers, a game from Crystal Dynamics. When I first heard that Crystal Dynamics was heading up a new Avengers game, I became understandably ecstatic. So many thoughts and ideas were running through my mind about what this new game would look like. I imagined a single-player campaign rife with globe-trotting adventure and intense action sequences, kind of like Tomb Raider or Uncharted. As time went on and details of the game began to emerge, my excitement and anticipation slowly withered away. There were talks of the game primarily being multiplayer-focused, and instantly I knew this was a bad sign. Once the game finally released and I was able to get my hands on it, unfortunately those feelings became truth. The game actually starts out quite strong, putting you in the shoes of Kamala Khan, not in any way related to Genghis Khan or Shere Khan. Thank goodness. The location is San Francisco and it's Avengers Day. As I played, it reminded me of so many other great single-player titles, showing pretty good character development and even getting you up close and personal to each Avenger right off the bat. In these beginning moments, the story is actually quite interesting and engaging. But once you put in an hour or two, the experience becomes less and less palatable. For the bulk of the game, you're fending off hordes of enemies as any one of the Avengers, or Kamala herself, who, let's be honest, is a glorified Elastigirl. Every time I played as her, all I could think about was The Incredibles. Each Avenger has their own unique abilities and movesets, and some are more fun to play as than others. For example, I did not enjoy playing as Hulk or even Iron Man, even though he's my favorite character in the MCU. But on the other hand, playing as Captain America and Black Widow were actually pretty fun. To make matters worse, some of the characters are severely underutilized, such as Thor. Aside from how each character plays, the biggest gripe I have with this game is simply the gameplay loop. It's one wave of enemies after another, and the enemies themselves are not even that interesting. The rest of the time you're watching cutscenes of what feels like a quickly thrown together story that lacks any real depth. Well, and of course, looting boxes constantly and upgrading your equipment every 5 minutes, which is about as enjoyable as cleaning out your cat's litter box. Not that I would know because my wife does that, but I can imagine it's not a very fun experience. Given that this game is made by Crystal Dynamics, you would think that there would be a variation of beautiful environments and locations to see and explore, but simply that is not the case. There are only a handful of environments which, to be frank, all seem barren and lacking in quality. Circling back to the story, the voice cast does a serviceable job, but after watching all of the MCU films for so many years and getting to know and love each character, you just can't compare them. We are so accustomed to hearing Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and the crew, that hearing anyone but them voice these beloved characters just seems weird. Especially when the voice actors they chose are in literally every other video game we've been playing for so many years. Every time Nolan North or Troy Baker opened their mouth in this game, all I could think about was Uncharted 4. In fact, I think the game could have benefited greatly from lesser-known voice actors. That way it would have been a little less jarring. Speaking of jarring, I thought it was very weird to play as Kamala, aka Elastigirl, and then hearing Jarvis in my ear talking about some serious story beat. At times, it felt like I was playing a children's cartoon, yet it tries so hard to tell a serious tale. The game fails miserably in many areas, and one of them is the checkpoint system. Don't even get me started on the atrocious load times. These are like PS2 era load times. Actually, you know what? I think my PS2 may be faster. And since there are only a handful of environments in the game, you would think loading would not even be an issue. Other much larger and more impressive games have much shorter load times than the Avengers. When we're talking about the technical side of things, the Avengers isn't too shabby. Character models look pretty good, and the environments, as bland as they may be at times, are also halfway decent. When it comes to music, there's not much to be said, and I've already touched on the voice acting. I also feel like the game came out several years too late. It's 2020, and these main Avengers are already past their primes. In the MCU, that is. It would have been nice to play this game at the height of the film's success. On a positive note, there are collectibles in the game, and they're somewhat compelling. There are voice recordings from the Avengers themselves that tell the backstory, and you can also find some classic Marvel comics. Ultimately, I could easily tell that this was destined to be a multiplayer-centric experience from the start. And unfortunately, that shows through when you're playing the single-player campaign. Upon hearing about this game's release, I was expecting something along the lines of Insomniac's Spider-Man, which would have been absolutely amazing, especially given Crystal Dynamics' pedigree with a series like Tomb Raider. I put several hours into this game, but I just could not find myself to finish it. The more I played, the more I grew weary and sad. So in the end, this game is about as shallow as Jack Black in 2001, and that's unfortunate. So that's what I thought of The Avengers by Crystal Dynamics. Let me know what you guys think of the game in the comments below. Did you like this video? If so, give it a like. If you disliked it, give it a dislike. And if you feel so inclined to support me on Patreon, I have the link in the description below. I have many more videos on the way. Looking forward to sharing those with you guys. And if you're enjoying these videos, also be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified as soon as I post anything new. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.